It's a relatively new industry in Ontario, the legal cannabis business.
And much like everything else, the COVID-19 pandemic is having an impact. CTV's Janice Golding reports.
Eliza Kay stands in the midst of her empty cannabis store. Kay's pot shop on Queen East opened late last summer in the midst of COVID-19.
We started this in January before COVID hit. I signed my lease before COVID hit, and I had made huge investments before COVID.
It's a new business in a relatively new industry, with the vast majority of Ontario's legalized cannabis dispensaries opening just last year, and lockdown measures have hit them hard.
I'm being asked for my payroll from March for payroll subsidies. I'm being asked for year over years. I don't have a year over year.
Lawyer Adam Bastos, president of the Retail Cannabis Council of Ontario, says retailers aren't getting many federal or provincial subsidies, and yet since in-store shopping was banned,
their revenues have dropped between 30 and 60%.
Bastos says many have had to sell often to larger players, a concern given manufacturers or licensed producers sell their products to the Ontario Cannabis Store. In turn, the OCS sells their products to retailers. And if these producers are allowed to own parts of cannabis stores, they're essentially able to sell their own products twice.
A licensed producer sells to the OCS, so they're making money from the beginning. They can then use that money to offset the prices in their retail stores, so they can undercut the individual independent retailers.
Bastos says this is putting the industry at risk of being overrun by monopolies.
We have concerns about the regulatory environment and how that could disenfranchise or disadvantage particularly small independent retailers.
The Ontario Chamber of Commerce says Ontario's 420 cannabis retailers can only purchase products from the government-run OCS, so they're at a disadvantage. It's calling for reforms.
Allow the retailers and the licensed producers to interact directly with one another so that they can determine their own product and pricing arrangements.
In the meantime, Kay is just trying to keep her business going.
As a small store, we have a website, but we don't have the brand identity that some of the bigger shops do.
She's making do with curbside pickup, although even that has its limitations. Janice Golding, CTV News.
Just ahead, it's a big birthday for Hazel McCallion as the former Mississauga.
Sunday is Valentine's Day, and in Mississauga, the 14th also holds a special meaning for one of its most famous residents.
Hazel McCallion is turning 100, and today, an early centennial celebration in honor of the former mayor.
Happy birthday, dear Hazel.
If you look very carefully, you can see Hazel McCallion back sitting in Mississauga City Council today. But this time, the former councillor and mayor was an honored guest. Mayor Bonnie Crombie was joined by council to celebrate McCallion's 100th birthday. Her gift?
Renaming Central Library to the Hazel McCallion Central Library.
Thank you for the naming of the library. You know, education and healthcare has been my two priorities during my entire years as mayor of Streetsville and mayor of Mississauga. Education and health. And I think we're so blessed.
McCallion took Mississauga from a town of fruit trees and farmland to Canada's 6th largest and Ontario's 3rd largest city. It was at her kitchen table she planned the city's first hospital, the Credit Valley site. Even now, she's working to continue bringing the best health care to the city. And instead of only receiving on her birthday this year, she's also giving a present.
Nobody does better.
An online celebration all can attend. A 100-minute video featuring 200 Mississauga-based artists.
Yes, we can disagree. There's going to be disagreement. But when the chips are down, we stick together and make it happen. So congratulations and thank you. The library is so important to the future of our children and the future of our city. Library and hospital care are the two great services that we must never neglect.
And people can also buy a commemorative photo book with all proceeds going to Trillium Health Partners. Hazel McCallion still giving words of wisdom.
Oh, happy birthday, Hurricane Hazel. And Lindsay, I think if folks are looking for more sunshine, tomorrow is going to be the day.
It is, and perhaps again on Sunday, just in time for Mayor Hazel McCallion's birthday. But ahead of that,